said to a few people coming in, this is actually my first political fundraiser to go to have, everything. As far as I'm concerned, this is just a really fun party where I also get a microphone. What could be better than that? But I don't, if I have more political fundraisers in my future, I don't know if anyone will ever feel, to me, quite the way this one does. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. And when the days get hard in the campaign, this is the kind of day I'll remember. So that it'll really help me through. So thanks so much. Quickly, I'd like to thank Mayor Acton, whose 4 terms as mayor proved that the voters of Lebanon are smart enough to go in and elect the most capable person no matter what letter's next to their name. So I have a lot of confidence that our voters know how to do that and that they'll do that again in November. Jeff Trivett and his wife Marilyn, who are such pillars of the community, I'm so grateful for your enthusiastic support. And Dr. Taylor, who's been a mentor and a colleague to me. And there are times we disagree, and we have a lot of respect for each other, and we move on and we do what's right for the school corporation. And we've done a lot of work together that I'm very proud of. Next to my family, my work on the school board is what I'm most proud of in my life. I'd also like to acknowledge, of course, the fabulous Lucas DeBard and Andy Wolfgang and Randy Gustafson, who gave us a little bit of music tonight, and our local chocolatier, George Donaldson, for giving us some chocolates. George's son Bruce is with us tonight as well. It's nice to have you back in Lebanon. And some folks from Team Thomas, the Hutchisons, the Pipers, the Woodses, and one of our very generous sponsors for the evening, the O'Rourke family, where we're getting lots of support from 6 voters. And Marilyn, you can, change your address to here for the next 2 months. They have a spare room. You can, Marianne. And I'd like quickly to introduce the people who are closest to me who are here tonight. My husband, Steve Warnhoff. My husband for 20 years. Greatest cheerleader and support and friend. 2 of our 3 daughters, our daughter Nina. Nina, stand up, please. Who will be a junior. A great campaign strategist, as it turns out. Our youngest daughter, Nora, who just started her senior year at Lebanon High School. And our oldest daughter, Becky, is already back on campus at Notre Dame getting ready to start her senior year, so we miss Becky tonight. And I'd also like to introduce my mother, Nina Clee, who came down from South Bend for this event. Lots of Ninas in our family, it's a good name. Well, I want to just take a few minutes and talk about why I'm running, because that's obviously the question that you get, particularly since I entered the race after the primary and didn't take part in that. And I'm going to start this with a story. My dad passed away a few years ago. And he lived in New Mexico later in his life, and he called me some years back and said, well, honey, I was talking to the Lord today, which is something that my dad would say frequently. And he said, the Lord said to me, tell Michelle to run for office. And I said, excuse me, Lord? And the Lord said, tell Michelle that she should run for public office. And my dad said, Lord, you know she'll run as a Democrat. And the Lord said, I know. Tell her to run for office. So I kind of tucked that little gem of fatherly and divine wisdom away. And shortly after that is when I ran for the school board. So I'd like to think that we're going to run a campaign to make my dad really proud. That means a lot to me. And then my mom also taught me something about activism. I remember when I was young, my mom was busy raising 7 children, who she had in 10 years. She's quite a lady. And she found time to go to she found time to go knock on doors and encourage our neighbors to vote for a school millage election that was coming up in Michigan. So I had early lessons in supporting the public schools in important ways from my mom as well. But back to this election specifically, I watched the primary closely, and I was really very concerned with the results of the primary. And we love Lebanon. It's come to be our home. And I was really very concerned about the choices that we had on the ballot. And within a couple days of the primary results being reported, I started hearing from a lot of friends in the community. People from really different parts of my life urging me to consider running for mayor, to give the voters a choice on the ballot in November. And that input was challenging, it was humbling, and it was kind of inspiring. So we started some pretty serious conversations around our kitchen table, Steve and I talking about what this might look like, bringing the girls into the conversation, Nora saying, really? Really? She's totally on board now. Really great. It's important, 17-year-olds, I'll give it to you straight. And then we started gathering friends from the community and advisors and people who I thought would really tell me the truth, which is so important when you're entering something like this. So eventually we came to the decision kind of organically that this was the thing to do, that I'm the right candidate and that this is the right time. And I feel really strongly after having lots of conversations with people in municipal government, because I really started going to school on municipal government. If there's one thing my opponent and I have in common, it's that neither of us have ever been a mayor. So I started conversations, I've met with all the city department heads, I've met with the city attorney so often I think he's going to start billing me. I've been tramping around the wastewater treatment plant. I'm really trying to understand the function of municipal government, and I find it fascinating. And the more I learn about the job, the more I think it's a great fit for my temperament, for my skill set, for my capabilities, and that I have the leadership and the experience and the commitment to this community to really make it happen. It feels like exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So all of you have been part of that process, and I'm so grateful to that. Just briefly to touch on my platform, this isn't really a great time to go into it, but I have published that recently, and that was really a result of all of those conversations and a lot of study. So if you have a few minutes, go to the website, take a look. Highlights. I'm really, of course, very committed to education and want to continue and extend the very productive partnerships that the school corporation has had with the city. That's really important. And also moving into the post-secondary education that we're having here with the Vincennes University Training Facility and getting that footprint firmly established and extended is important to me. Residential growth. There's almost no one I speak to in Lebanon who doesn't say, we need more rooftops, we need more citizens, we need more homes. I've talked to people who wanted to move here or buy a home, they couldn't find the kind of home they wanted, and they had to live elsewhere even though they wanted to live in Lebanon. I really want to work to bring more people to our community. We have a fabulous community to sell, and I want more people benefiting from it and contributing to it. And infrastructure. Not very glamorous, but a critical function of municipal government. Sidewalks are a high priority for me. I've taken to riding my bike around town, which is a great way to see neighborhoods and really take your time a little bit, and that's been really interesting. And also stormwater drainage. So glamorous, right? But this spring, we've really seen, we all know we're built on a swamp. The Boone County seal has a little frog on it, right? We all learned that in our fourth grade history. And we really need to work with the stormwater drainage board, help citizens really connect with how to get those problems solved, how to understand how those things work, and to make sure that people are invested in that. So take a look at my platform, but I'm really just envisioning a vibrant Lebanon with more people and some development and moving forward with that. I want to touch just briefly on the campaign itself. So I filed my papers in mid-June, which was a really fun day. And then, of course, we had a wonderful participation in all the Lebanon 4th of July events. The parade was another day like this, where it just really buoyed me up. It was so much fun to see the response from the folks we were walking with and my friends and neighbors along the route. We had a wonderful presence at the 4-H fair with volunteers in the booth. I met hundreds and hundreds of voters. That was really critical. Moving forward from this event, we have our first campaign day of action on Saturday, and those are opportunities for us to kind of go out and volunteer teams and blitz some neighborhoods with some door knocking. We're looking for maximum voter contact. Jeff understands this, Jim understands this, any of you who've been in politics understand this. This isn't a huge election for numbers. If we have 3,000 votes, it'll be a really high turnout. I would really like every single vote. I really would love to run up the score on this one. But going into November 3rd, if we can have 1,600 votes really nailed down, I'll feel really good about my chances. So it's going to be knocking on doors, making calls, days of action. We have house parties. If any of you want to talk to me about this, where you set a date, an hour and a half maybe, invite 15 or 20 friends and neighbors to your home. Steve and I come over, spend some time with them. It's a great way to meet voters where they are. some of those on the calendar. And letters to the editor are powerful, in this community especially. Lots of people still read the paper. Your voices in the community are extremely important to this campaign. They are absolutely the grassroots that we need. Having said that, with all of that person-to-person contact, we also will have mailers. They're just part of the landscape now, and those are expensive. So that's why your financial support here tonight is so important. Some of you may be familiar with my opponent and his family business, but they're professional political operatives. They run a political consulting firm that's based in Indianapolis. They're paid millions and millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars, to get Republican candidates elected across the state. They ran a very aggressive campaign in the primary. He managed to win the primary with people knowing very little about him. It's one of the things I hear people say to me, I just don't know anything about him. That's a real opening for us because we have some basic facts that we can tell people and then you move on from there. But they have a great deal of funding. They're very professional. We're not going to be able to maybe match them dollar for dollar and mailer for mailer. We have to match them with energy, with a grassroots effort, with our commitment, and with the facts about who has the track record and who has the experience in local leadership to come in and be the leader that Lebanon really needs and deserves. So that's the kind of campaign we're going to have to run, and I'm going to need all of you to do it. I'm going to need, as Jeff mentioned, I hope I have every vote in this room. I'm going to need more than your vote. It's not that long of a time frame. It's tight. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm really going to need your help. So we do have sheets at the tables. I have contact information for really most of you, but please indicate if you're interested in making some calls, knocking on doors, holding a house party. But you know, your voice in the community, as I said, carries so much weight. Scott mentioned this is a campaign about local leadership. I do consider myself a local leader. I'm really proud of that. All of you are local leaders, though. This is very much a team effort. Every single one of you is playing a role in this campaign. Just to close quickly, and Jim really touched on this as well, I think of this very much as the voters of Lebanon are hiring a mayor. The campaign, this part of it is the interview process. And when you're hiring someone for a job, you have to look at their qualifications. So I'd like you to take away 3 things tonight. I have a proven track record of leadership in this community, of achievement that I can point to, people who I've worked with who respect me, and whose friendship and respect is very valuable to me. I have a proven record of local leadership. Secondly, a really strong commitment to this community. We're still newbies too at only 12 years. Dr. Taylor will never catch you. But we're here for the long haul. I told Steve when we moved into our house in Brentwood, I said, I hope you like it, honey, because I'm leaving feet first. That's it. We're here, and we've come to love this place, and that's a way that a place gets to be your home too, not just from growing up there. So my commitment to the community is proven and will continue. And finally, to look past that party label, if that's a barrier for people, and really look at the competence of the candidates. A national party platform doesn't have much to do with municipal government in a city of 16,000 people. It's about competence and relationships and judgment and experience, and that's what I can bring. So thank you so much for coming. Your support means a great deal to me, and I hope you all get to watch the Perseid meteor shower tonight, because that's going to be really fun. Thank you so much. Please enjoy yourself.